From WNBA rising star to free agent overnight, Chennedy Carter's career hangs by a thread after her shocking confrontation with Caitlin Clark. But was the push really what ended her time with the Chicago Sky? The truth might surprise you. Let's dive into what's really going on with Chennedy Carter and the Chicago Sky. Now, if you've been following women's basketball, you know Carter as this explosive scorer, someone who can light up the scoreboard at any moment. But right now she's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The Chicago Sky just dropped a bombshell. They're not offering Carter a qualifying offer, which basically means they're showing her the door. And this isn't just any player we're talking about. This was their leading scorer. You don't just let talent like that walk away unless something's seriously wrong. Now let's break this down because there's a lot to unpack here. First off, Carter's not just some bench player. We're talking about someone who can drop 20 points like it's nothing when she's on her game. She's practically unstoppable. She's got this quick first step that leaves defenders in the dust, and her shooting pure silk. She's not coming back, according to reports. Now, according to multiple league sources, players were unhappy with the dynamic created in the locker room last year due to Chennedy. But here's where things get interesting. The Sky's decision didn't come out of nowhere. There's been this tension building up like a pressure cooker about to blow, and that infamous push on Caitlin Clark, that was just the lid finally popping off. Let's rewind to that moment. The game was intense, emotions were running high. And then boom, Carter puts her hands on Clark in a way that had everyone in the arena gasping. Now, physical contact happens in basketball all the time, but this felt different. This felt personal. And then Chennedy just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that moment between you and Caitlin, what was on that play, what was said, and kind of what it led to. When reporters tried to get Carter's side of the story afterwards, her response was ice cold. She wouldn't even acknowledge the Clark questions, just brushed them off like they were nothing. That kind of attitude, it speaks volumes, especially in today's media-savvy sports world. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just respond, calm down, let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense. And I feel like that's kind of what we did, but you know, it is what it is. I guess Sky's official statement tries to keep things professional. But if you read between the lines, there's more drama here than a Netflix series. They're saying all the right things. Chennedy Carter had an incredible season for us. She's extremely talented, but then they dropped this bomb about changes to our staff and how these changes impact Kennedy's fit on the team. Translation: we've got issues that go way beyond what happens on the court. What's really fascinating is watching how this is playing out on social media. Annie Eucharist, who's been all over this story, like white on rice, points out that Carter's now an unrestricted free agent. But here's where it gets juicy. The insiders are suggesting this isn't just about that push on Clark. There's talk about locker room issues, and in professional sports, that's code red. One comment that's getting a ton of attention says you never let your best offensive player, and arguably your best player, walk away for nothing unless there are locker room issues. Think about that for a second. A team willingly letting go of their leading scorer. That's like a restaurant firing their best chef. You don't do it unless something's seriously wrong in the kitchen. And get this, apparently Carter and Angel Reese have unfollowed each other on social media. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who cares about social media drama? But in 2024, that's not just petty Instagram stuff. That's a public statement. That's two high-profile players essentially saying we've got beef. The timing of all this couldn't be worse for Carter. The WNBA is literally on the verge of its biggest breakthrough ever. There's talk about this massive new collective bargaining agreement. The NBA is showing interest in getting more involved. And there's this media rights deal on the table that's worth billions. Yes, with AB, we're talking about a potential golden age for women's basketball players. Could be looking at bigger contracts than ever before. The exposure is about to go through the roof. And here's Carter watching it all potentially slip through her fingers, because she couldn't keep her cool. But let's be real for a second. That push on Clark wasn't just any old basketball scuffle. Clark isn't just another player having a good season. She's become the face of women's basketball. She's breaking records left and right. She's got people who've never watched a women's basketball game in their lives tuning in just to see what she'll do next. Pushing her wasn't just a bad decision in the moment. It was like picking a fight with the golden goose. In an era where women's basketball is finally getting the recognition it deserves, where sponsors are finally paying attention, where viewership is skyrocketing, you can't be the player who puts hands on the sport's biggest star. The reactions from around the league have been telling. One comment really nailed it. She's a real baller, other than that she's a psycho. Harsh maybe, but in professional sports, especially in 2024, talent isn't everything anymore. You need to be the complete package. Some Sky fans are still in denial, still trying to defend Carter, but the writing's been on the wall. Sources close to the team have been whispering about tension for months. The push on Clark might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, but that camel was already carrying a pretty heavy load. The inside sources paint a picture of a player who's incredible on the court, but challenging off it. There's talk about missed meetings, about conflicts with teammates, about an attitude that just doesn't fit with where the league is trying to go. One source even said it's like having a Ferrari with a broken GPS. Yeah, it's fast, but you never know where it's going to end up. And here's the thing about professional sports in 2024, It's not just about what you do during the 40 minutes of game time, it's about being a professional 24/7. It's about understanding that every action, every social media post, every interaction with fans and media, it all matters. The WNBA is at this crucial point in its history. The league is growing. The talent level is through the roof, but more importantly, people are finally paying attention. Sponsors are writing bigger checks. TV networks are fighting over broadcasting rights. This isn't just about basketball anymore, it's about building something sustainable. Now the big question everyone's asking is, will any other team take a chance on Carter? It's not a simple yes or no answer. She's obviously talented, that's never been in question. When she's on her game, she's one of the most electric players in the league. But in today's WNBA, with the league growing and more eyes on the game than ever, can any team afford to take on a player with this kind of baggage? Think about what teams are dealing with right now. The WNBA is in this golden moment. Viewership numbers are breaking records. Sponsors aren't just interested, they're eager to get involved. Thanks for watching and subscribe my channel.